All right, so in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about rate and unit rate, and that's a little bit of a review because we talked about that a little bit in class a couple of weeks ago. But let's look at this problem. So Mr. Anderson loves to go walleye fishing, which is true. The last time he went up north, he went fishing for 6 hours and caught 33 walleyes. That's not true. It would be more realistic if it was like 0 or 1. But I have gone out fishing up north in Canada before, where we did catch like 1 walleye per minute, which, by the way, would be a rate, which was pretty crazy. But we're just going to roll with this one. Can we write it as a rate? And then what would this rate be as a unit rate? So if you remember, a rate is just a ratio of two different quantities. So if we're going to write this as a ratio, we have to think, do we want to talk about walleyes per hours or hours per walleyes? And I think you could maybe make a case for both of them, but I think normally people would be talking about walleyes per hours because usually time, so in this case the hours, would be the second quantity that we're comparing. So we're going to just write that. Remember, we can write a ratio as a fraction. So this rate would be 33. I'm going to use the letter W to represent walleyes. 33 walleyes per. Remember that division bar or that fraction bar is like saying the word per 6 hours. Okay, and so now it's asking us, what would this be as a unit rate? Okay, well, if we remember, it's a unit rate when the second number we're comparing, so in this case, it would be the 6 hours, isn't a 6 anymore, but it would be 1 hour. The second quantity needs to be down to 1. So we have to remember we can only multiply or divide our numerator and denominator here. So what would I have to multiply or divide the top and bottom by to make the bottom equal to 1 instead of 6? Well, if I divide it by itself, so in this case 6, I would also have to do the same thing to the top because you can't do one thing to one side and then not do the same thing to the other. All right, but if I divide by 6, 6 divided by 6, if I look on the bottom, is just 1 hour. Okay, and then if I do 33 divided by 6, that's going to be about 5.5, I think, if you do it in your calculator, walleyes per hour, per 1 hour. So I could also write that as 5.5 walleyes per hour. And again, I'm just using W to abbreviate the walleyes and HR to abbreviate hour. So that makes sense though, because every hour I'm catching like 5.5 walleyes. Well, if we're going to make sense of that, that means probably like 1 hour I caught 5 of them, but then the next hour I might have caught 6, because wouldn't really make sense for me to catch 5.5 fish. All right, where does that half fish mean? There shouldn't be a lot of fish, half fish in the lake that I should be catching. So it would make more sense if you, this is more of an averaging technique. On average, I am catching 5.5 walleyes per hour, and that works out to be 33 walleyes after 6 hours.